So practicing tunes and repertoire is super important as well. But we need to move on to ideas. How do you work on ideas? Number one is listening. You gotta listen. And what you have to do is, you have to investigate, and you have to identify, and then you have to imitate your favorite player. Everyone should go out of here this week, if you didn't already have a favorite player, and pick someone, or more than one, on your instrument and on other instruments. You know, for example, people talk about J.J. Johnson, who's one of my biggest heroes in my life. Well, J.J. assimilated all the trombone masters that came before, like Jack Teagarden and Trimmy Young, and, you know, etc. But he also played the trombone in the language of Charlie Parker, which people thought was impossible. They thought a trombone was just like a circus instrument, you know? And they thought the trombone was like, I mean, that's what they thought about the trombone. And they didn't think, you know, people just didn't think you could do that. What I'm saying is, because I grew up after JJ, I heard JJ playing confirmation, and so I knew it was possible. So what did I do? I investigated, I identified, and then I imitated. Now the question that really comes after that is integration. How do you integrate your playing and create something fresh? Well, one thing you have to do is you have to compose. Everyone should go out of here and start writing tunes. Because what made John Coltrane such a great innovator was the fact that he wrote giant steps. He wrote bonus notes. And he wrote the tune first, and then he allowed his playing style to come, follow. And then he wrote impressions based off So What. He wrote Sunship. He wrote Love Supreme. So what happens is the composition is the floor mat, is the foundation to change your style. So in other words, if you want to sound different than everyone else, write different tunes. Does that make sense? Because if you don't write music, you're going to be stuck with the same old songs that everyone else is playing. Not that there's anything wrong with Thelonious Monk or Miles Davis or John Coltrane's tunes, but it's very daunting. And I mean, if you think you can play giant steps better than John Coltrane, then you better really be able to play. But if you write your own song, it gives you a fighting chance to develop your own voice. Intensive listening, composition, and this thing, transcribing, this is how you'll develop ideas. But also listening to other music. And the final thing was having role models on other instruments, like I said, J.J. Love, Bird. So for example, let's imagine a sax player who, like a tenor player, who sounds just like Train, or just like Sonny Rollins, and everyone's going, man, he's cat sounds like Joe Henderson, or sounds just like Wayne. But you know what? Wayne sounded like Wayne, and there's nothing really new in there, right? But imagine a tenor sax player who sounds like Herwig. Everyone's going to be going, I never heard that, ever. That sounds so fresh. You see what I'm saying? So it's called nonlinear thinking. You know, if you're a trumpet player and you listen to Louis Armstrong and you listen to Roy Eldridge and Dizzy Gillespie and Clifford Brown and Freddie Hubbard and Woody Shaw, that's beautiful. And you're going to gain a lot from that. But if you're a trumpet player who plays like Wayne Shorter, no one, that's a fresh thing. For example, on trombone, people, tell me they think I play like a trumpet or a saxophone. And that's fresh. Well, JJ did it. It might be the musical language, because I always loved Joe Henderson and John Coltrane and those guys. But that's the point, kind of integrating. Okay? Now, I know we got to go. So, here's the bottom line point to go back over in your mind. You can take or leave whatever I say, and whatever your teachers say, and whatever any other guest artist comes in here. Number one is, if you think that we can play, then maybe it gives value to what we say. If you appreciate what we play. Now, if you think that we can't play, then that's your opinion. But what I will tell you is, organization, thinking, and structuring your practice time. In other words, let's imagine you've got a week. So, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you work on sound. You work every day on sound technique and ideas, but those are days you really concentrate a lot on sound. Now, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, you work on technique. And then every day, you work on ideas. You see? Because also, you don't have time every day to put the intensive, unless you're just going to devote 8 hours a day. I hope you can, because you're still young and you don't have like a lot of time commitments. But once you, like me, and you're a professional and you have a family, and maybe you have a day job, like I've done all kinds of day jobs in my life. I drove a car service, I worked in a record store, I washed dishes, so that I could play jazz. And then fortunately, little by little, things developed. But what I'm saying is, if you have a plan, it doesn't have to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, but it can also be practicing 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon, and 1 hour at night. Now, this is a great thing for brass players, because we can't, not like sax players can just blow 8 hours a day. Brass players, you will hurt yourself if you practice like 5 hours in a row. You will hurt yourself. So you can see, if you space out your practice time, if you have a plan. Now, the only other thing before we go, what I will say, because I forgot to tell you this, if you cannot practice more than once a day, wake up early and do it the first thing you do all day. Do not put off your practice, because I'll tell you, when I did have day jobs, like, making pizza and washing dishes and stuff, I would always wake up and say, I'm going to just chill and I'll go to work, and when I get back from work, I'm going to practice. You know what? I always felt too tired or had something else to do. And what I started doing, and my son, we came up with this idea, is practice first. For him, it's homework first. But for me, it's practice first. Because if you wake up in the morning, let's say you got to go to work at 9, or you got something to do with your family at 9 a.m., but you wake up at 8 and you practice for 45 minutes or an hour at 8 a.m., the whole day you're going to walk around going, you know what? I practiced today. And then if you do happen to get that nighttime practice in, you got a double hit. But if you don't practice, what happens is you feel bad. You're like, I missed it. Yeah, I missed it. And then the next day rolls by and you missed it again. And then 3, 4, 5 days go and you don't practice. But if you wake up in the morning and make a commitment to practice first, and then organize your time, you're going to feel good about yourself. And that's another thing. You have to help yourself. You have to feel good about yourself with your practice routine. And I'll tell you why. Because when everything's going well and your chops are great, your ideas are flowing, there's no problem. But anyone in this world will tell you, at some point, your chops are going to feel rotten, you're not going to have any ideas, something's going to go, you don't have any good reads, something is going wrong. And then all of a sudden, the world caves in on you. And so, if you have a routine and a ritual, you can work your way out of that jam. And anybody in sports will tell you, it's like a baseball player who goes like over 30. They go back to the basics. Tiger Woods, you know, back to the basics. You know, anybody has a routine that you can depend upon it. Not when things are going great, but when things are going bad, because everyone has peaks and valleys. Okay? Now, I'm sorry we didn't have time for questions. Maybe we can open up for some questions a little bit later at the jam session or something. I appreciate you guys' attention and focus, and let's do it.